The Nightly Business Report.
Good evening. Tonight, foreign remittances rise to $695 million in September amid improving economic confidence and seasonal transfers. Daily wage for plantation workers set to increase to 1,750 rupees under new agreement. Colombo stock market sees mixed trading as ASPI inches up and S&P SL20 records modest decline. And Levi's shares slide as tariff pressures raise cost concerns and cloud profit outlook.
From Studio 24C, here's Prashansa Gunawardena.
Good evening and welcome to the Nightly Business Report. The Central Bank of Sri Lanka reported a significant rise in foreign remittances, with migrant workers sending $695.7 million in September 2025, up $140.1 million from the same month last year.
The Central Bank of Sri Lanka revealed that migrant workers sent $695.7 million in remittances in September 2025, marking a significant increase from $555.6 million in the same month last year. This represents a rise of $140.1 million compared to September 2024. From January to September 2025, Sri Lanka received a total of $5,811.7 million in foreign remittances, up by $967.9 million from $4,843.8 million during the same period in 2024. The steady growth in remittance inflows reflects continued support from the Sri Lankan diaspora amid economic challenges. In terms of tourism, earnings for September 2025 were recorded at $182.9 million.
Total private sector borrowings in Sri Lanka increased to 226.8 billion rupees in August 2025, the highest monthly figure this year after 221 billion rupees in June. This pushed the outstanding private sector debt to over 9.2 trillion rupees during the first 8 months, up 8.7% from a year ago. Domestic banking sector credit to the private sector reached 239.2 billion rupees in August, while credit from foreign banks declined by 12.4 billion rupees. Outstanding private sector debt from domestic banks stood at 8.68 trillion rupees, up 8.3% year-on-year. Government credit rose 4.8% year-on-year to 8.38 trillion rupees by the end of August, driven by a 19.5% increase in domestic bank lending. However, total credit to public corporations fell sharply by 41% year-on-year to 618 billion rupees. President Anurakkumara Dissanayake announced that plantation workers' daily wage will be increased to 1,750 rupees by the end of 2025. The announcement was made during a land deed distribution event for upcountry plantation families.
President Anurakkumara Dissanayake announced that the daily wage for plantation workers will be raised to 1,750 rupees by the end of this year. He made the announcement at an event in Bandarawela where land title deeds were distributed to over 2,000 upcountry plantation families. The housing project, supported by Indian assistance, is a part of a broader effort to improve living conditions for the plantation community. The government is committed to enhancing the economic and social well-being of the Malayalam community, focusing on fair wages, housing ownership, health, education and clean water access. Dissanayake also thanked the Indian government for its financial support, including 2.8 million rupees per housing unit under the project.
Sri Lanka's official reserves rose slightly to $6.24 billion at the end of September 2025, up from $6.1 billion in the previous 2 months. Foreign currency reserves accounted for $6.18 billion, with gold reserves valued at $58 million. The Central Bank of Sri Lanka anticipates a $2.1 billion outflow over the next year, including debt repayments. The IMF highlighted strong tourism, remittances and exports as key factors offsetting higher import costs. IMF Mission Chief Ewan noted that reserve growth results from multiple factors beyond just imports. He confirmed that the central bank is on track to meet or exceed its international reserve targets. Let's take a short break now. This is the Nightly Business Report. Welcome back to the Nightly Business Report. The Colombo Stock Exchange saw mixed performance today, with key indices showing marginal movement. Investor sentiment remained cautious amid broader market uncertainty. For further insights on this, we have Dilhari Dias from First Capital Holdings.
Thank you, Prashansa. The Colombo Bourse kick-started the week in the green territory, supported by the positive contribution from an array of sectors. The all share price index closed at 22,321, posting a marginal gain of 2 points. While retail investor participation was average, high net worth investor participation largely drove the positive market sentiment. Top contributors to the index's gain included Dialog Asiata plc, CT Holdings plc, Mercantile Investments and Finance plc, Ambion Holdings plc and Haris Chandra Mills plc. The total market turnover for the day reached 5.7 billion rupees, marking a decrease of 22% compared to the monthly average turnover of approximately 7.3 billion rupees. Diversified financial sector topped the sectorial contributions to turnover, accounting for 31%, followed by the banking sector and capital goods sector, which jointly contributed around 26%. The top three gainers for the day were Mercantile Investments and Finance plc, SMB Finance plc non-voting, and Industrial Asphalt Ceylon plc, whereas the top three losers were Apico Insurance plc, On Ally Holdings plc, and Tess Agro plc. Thank you.
Sri Lanka's stock market showed mixed performance last week amid cautious investor sentiment. Market activity was influenced by ongoing economic uncertainties and global market trends. For further insights on this, we have Shahana Kanagaratnam from First Capital Holdings.
Thank you, Prashansa. The Colombo Stock Exchange kicked off the week on a steady note, with the ASPI edging up by just 2 points to settle at 22,321. Looking ahead, the market is likely to maintain its positive momentum, although some profit-taking could occur as the ASPI approaches the key 22,500 mark. The upcoming release of corporate earnings for the quarter ending September 2025, starting from October 15th, is expected to be a significant driver of market activity. We believe that these results will largely shape investor sentiment in the coming weeks. Given the overall improvement in the macroeconomic conditions, listed companies are expected to have posted strong quarterly performances, further supporting market optimism. Sectors such as banking, diversified financials, and capital goods are likely to attract investor attention. Turnover is projected to range between 5 to 6 billion rupees, with both retail and high net worth investors expected to remain active in the market. Thank you.
Gold prices jumped to fresh record highs in Asian trade today, approaching the $4,100 per ounce mark as renewed US-China trade tensions boosted demand for safe haven assets. Spot gold rose 1.3% to $4,070.29 per ounce, after touching a record $4,078.05 earlier in the session. US gold futures climbed 1.6% to $4,089.45 an ounce. Silver futures extended their rally, hitting a new all-time high of $51.07 per ounce, up about 2.4% on the day. Platinum futures jumped nearly 3% to $1,669.60 per ounce. Benchmark copper futures on the London Metal Exchange rose 1.5% to $10,572.75 a ton, while US copper futures climbed 1.7% to $4.98 a pound. Oil prices rose today after hitting 5-month lows in the previous session, as investors hoped potential talks between the presidents of the US and China could ease trade tensions between the world's two largest economies and oil consumers. Brent crude futures climbed 92 cents or 1.47% to $63.65 a barrel, by after settling down 3.82% on Friday at the lowest since May 7th. US West Texas Intermediate crude was at $59.79 a barrel, up 89 cents or 1.51%, following a 4.24% loss. China's crude imports in September rose 3.9% from a year earlier to 11.5 million barrels per day. Customers' data showed at refineries operated at their highest utilization rates so far this year, and as stockpiling efforts continued. The Sri Lankan rupee has appreciated slightly against the US dollar at commercial banks in Sri Lanka today compared to last Friday. The buying rate of the US dollar has reduced from 299 rupees and 45 cents to 299 rupees and 40 cents, while the selling rate has reduced from 304 rupees and 95 cents to 304 rupees and 90 cents. Let's take a closer look on how the Sri Lankan rupee has performed against other major global currencies. Break now. This is the Nightly Business Report. Welcome back to the Nightly Business Report. Haley's PLC has been ranked Sri Lanka's leading listed corporate in the LMD 100 for the 10th time, highlighting its continued financial strength and national impact.
Haley's PLC has secured the number 1 position in the 32nd edition of the LMD 100, marking the 10th time it has been ranked in Sri Lanka's leading listed corporate. For the financial year 2024-2025, the group achieved a record-breaking consolidated revenue of 492.2 billion rupees, a 13% year-on-year increase and the highest in its 148-year history. Profit before tax rose by 40% to 35.4 billion rupees, while profit after tax increased by 52% to 22.5 billion rupees. Haley's generated $685 million in export income, contributing 53% of total revenue and reinforcing its role as a major foreign exchange earner. With operations in over 20 countries and leadership in 16 industry sectors, the group continues to be one of the largest private sector employers in Sri Lanka, supporting over 65,000 direct and indirect livelihoods.
Hutch has made history as the first telecom operator in Sri Lanka to offer free travel insurance bundled with its international roaming plans. This unique service provides coverage for medical emergencies, trip cancellations, flight delays, baggage loss and more, at no extra cost to the consumer. The travel insurance is automatically activated when customers subscribe to eligible roaming plans requiring no separate application or paperwork. Through this offering, Hutch aims to provide greater peace of mind and convenience to Sri Lankan travelers, especially in post-pandemic era where travel uncertainty remains. The initiative is part of Hutch's broader strategy to innovate and differentiate its services while delivering added value to customers. Commercial Bank of Ceylon, in collaboration with CBS Solutions, has launched the PAX E700 Smart POS device to empower Sri Lankan SMEs. This all-in-one solution simplifies payment processing and business management for small and medium enterprises.
Commercial Bank of Ceylon, in partnership with CBS Solutions, has introduced the PAX E700 all-in-one smart POS device to empower SMEs across Sri Lanka. This advanced solution combines payment acceptance, inventory management, and billing into a single user-friendly terminal. Designed to streamline operations, the device supports multiple payment methods, including cards, QR codes, and digital wallets. It enables small and medium enterprises to enhance customer experience while improving efficiency and record keeping. The introduction of the PAX E700 reflects Combank's continued focus on digitalizing financial services and supporting the growth of SMEs.
Union Assurance has pioneered a major digital transformation by becoming the first insurer in Sri Lanka to fully digitalize the advisor lifecycle management process. This end-to-end solution streamlines advisor recruitment, onboarding, training, performance tracking, and career progression. This digitalization enhances transparency, operational efficiency, and user experience, enabling faster and smarter decision-making. It also empowers advisors with real-time insights and tools to better serve customers. This innovation is aligned with Union Assurance's broader strategy to lead the insurance industry through digital excellence. By setting this benchmark, the company reinforces its commitment to innovation, talent development, and customer-centric solutions. The NDB Wealth Growth Fund has delivered a strong year-to-date return of 37.11% as of September 2025, continuing its streak of exceptional performance.
The NDB Wealth Growth Fund posted a year-to-date return of 37.11% as of 30th September 2025, following outstanding returns of 44.96% in 2024 and 37.47% in 2023. This marks 3 consecutive years of strong growth, generating over 170% culminated returns since 2023, surpassing the ASPI's 156.53% return. The fund's success is attributed to a disciplined investment approach focused on high conviction growth opportunities and agile capital allocation. As Sri Lanka's economy recovers and interest rates ease, the fund offers investors a diversified equity-based solution for sustainable medium to long-term capital growth. With a minimum investment of 5,000 rupees, it provides accessible participation in the country's growth story.
Let's take a short commercial break. Global business updates coming on the other side. This is the Nightly Business Report. Welcome back to the Nightly Business Report. Asian stock markets fell in a broad-based sell-off today, with Hong Kong's tech-heavy index leading declines as fresh US tariff threats and retaliation talks from Beijing reignited trade war fears and undermined investor confidence. Hong Kong's Hang Seng Index stumbled 2.3%. Mainland Chinese markets also weakened, with the blue-chip Shanghai Shenzhen CSI 300 and Shanghai Composite each down nearly 1%. However, futures tied to Nikkei 225 jumped nearly 1.5% as the yen weakened. South Korea's Kospi dropped 1.3%, Australia's S&P ASX 200 fell 0.6%, while Singapore's Straits Times Index declined 1%. Futures for India's Nifty 50 edged higher before market open. Levi's & Co. shares fell as investors focused on the denim maker's warning of a tariff-related hit to its fourth quarter margin, overlooking a higher annual profit forecast.
Shares of Levi Strauss fell as much as 14% Friday morning after the denim maker warned of a tariff-related hit to its fourth quarter margin. The company sources the bulk of its products from South Asia, including Bangladesh, Cambodia, and Pakistan, countries that face high tariffs as a result of new trade policy implemented under U.S. President Donald Trump. The warning of higher costs from tariffs overshadowed the company raising its full-year sales and profit forecast. Levi's has capitalized on the resurgence of baggy, loose-fit apparel among Gen Z customers. Still, one analyst told Reuters that while management called the growing expenses transitory, the, quote, concern is that Levi's has struggled to show an ability to scale expenses for 3 to 5 years now. Another analyst said Levi's was being conservative with its outlook, despite the company not seeing any adverse changes in shopping trends in September. Executives said on an earnings call that Levi's has secured about 70% of its holiday inventory early and slightly raised prices to mitigate tariff impact and prepare for the holiday quarter. It has also broadened its product offerings, leaned into full-price sales, and kept a tight leash on inventory to offset weaker consumer sentiment and tariff-related pressures.
Volkswagen Group reported a 1% rise in third-quarter deliveries, driven by strong demand in Europe and South America, which offset declines in China and the US.
Volkswagen Group's release of new models paid off in the third quarter. The German auto giant reported a 1% rise in deliveries during the period on Friday. It said a boost from Europe and South America pushed back on pressure from China and the US. Group deliveries to China fell 7%. VW isn't the only German major to see a sales decline in the country recently. Mercedes was down by more than a quarter over the same period, while BMW also saw a slight drop. Electric vehicles were a bright spot for VW in the third quarter. Deliveries of battery EVs rose by a third from July to September. It saw a big 213% jump in North America and a 60% rise in Europe of battery EVs. But sales of such designs plunged by more than half in China. One analyst said this was due to the varying market conditions in the three markets. The results come a day after Volkswagen's Porsche unit said sales were down in China by more than a quarter in the first 9 months of the year. VW slashed its financial guidance for this year in September.
That wraps up today's Nightly Business Report. We value your opinion. Share your thoughts and feedback with us through email at feedback.ad24english@then.lk or via WhatsApp at 076805793. We will see you again tomorrow with the latest updates in the business globe. Vinod Varnasuriya will join you next with other Derana Sports Central. Until then, I'm Prashansa Gunawardana. Thank you for watching and have a good night.